Hi, I am Stephen from the team at Sinek. Our team has been remote for as long as we've existed, which has been over 10 years now. And more individuals and teams and even organizations now are operating in a remote fashion. Many of us are being forced to, and many of us are choosing to because working as a remote team offers some great flexibilities and opportunities. We have a ritual on our team called huddle because working remote can be challenging. It's hard to stay on the same page. It's hard to stay connected. It's hard to build trust when we don't have that water cooler, we don't have a shared office space. And so, one of the ways that we keep our team connected and tight is we host a weekly call called Huddle. We do our huddle on Monday mornings. It's an opportunity for us all to get on. We use a video conferencing call, a Zoom call. Everyone has their video on. We ground together, we connect together, and the call is built and devoted completely to building relationship with one another. When a lot of teams huddle, I think they talk about business, but this team huddle is about each other. We get on the same page. We share what's on our heart and minds. We share what's great. We share what sucks. We give each other high fives, and we answer a question of the week, and we share a story of why we do what we do. It's 75 minutes every week simply devoted to building relationship with each other, because relationship truly is the foundation of what we can accomplish as a team. And so in these times when more and more people are working remote, we thought we would give you a taste of what our huddle looks like. We, as a team, came together for a short, abridged version of our huddle. Instead of 75 minutes, we gave you a taste of what it actually looks like, and we did it in about 15 minutes. So we hope by you watching this huddle, you get a sense of how we connect, and perhaps you can adopt this in your own unique way for your team. We hope it helps, and here's our huddle.
Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, March 18th. It's lovely to be with you all. And I'm going to pass it to Mr. Shedletsky, who will do our grounding exercise so we can all become present and be with each other.
Awesome, guys. Hey, just invite everyone to take a deep breath because these times aren't normal times, and let's get back to us. So if you're sitting, put your feet on the floor. Feel your feet on the floor in through your nose and out through your mouth. Two more. In through your nose. And just feel your body and feel your presence here for each other. Okay. A reminder to everyone, just turn off your notifications and we're here for each other. Sharon, back over to you.
Excellent. Thank you. Who has some love to share? Let's high five each other for the awesome things we've been doing for each other this week. Simon, please kick it off.
Yeah, I have a high five for Melissa. We've been working together on redoing our what used to be called PGR. We have now renamed it. It's going to be called GNP, which is growth and performance. It's how we review each other. And it's just been a pleasure working with Melissa. We've completely reinvented something here, so it's completely our own. We no longer have a 16-page review process. It's down to 2 pages. It's super, super, super easy and simple. And just big high five to Alyssa for doing all the research. And just, it's been an absolute joy working with her. And I think what we have is really, really good. So thanks, Melissa.
High five. Also, I've got a couple high fives actually. First one to Stephen Shedletsky for just staying on the grind and community, man. Way to hop in, stay on top of things. One also for Siobhan for just staying on top of messaging and setting up meetings and everything like that when it comes to product development. And Lee also for just keeping it light and always being the spark and smile when we need it. So high fives around.
I have a couple. First to the Ignite leadership team and really everybody, since my life got a little turned around and upside down on Monday. So thank you all so much for holding the space for me so I could sort of drive through the night to be with my family and for my health and my own mental health. So just can't thank you enough for just letting me sort of pack up the car and drive and get where I needed to be at a moment's notice. So just thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I've got one for Siobhan, who is doing such a masterful job coordinating all of these big projects, and a lot of details, a lot of internal and external communication. Siobhan, you are the rock that is keeping a lot of these big projects moving forward, and just a big high five. Because I know you're juggling kids at home at the same time. So way to go, girl.
Awesome. I know you may have more high fives. So as you know, high fives can happen when, Christina?
At any time.
At any time. I love that time, at any time. So we're going to do our check-ins, and our question of the week this week is, I think, a pretty topical one. We're a remote team. We've been doing this jam for many years. And as we know, there are lots of individuals and teams that for the first time ever are forced to embrace virtual teaming and remote teaming. And so our question of the week this week is, what tip or advice would you give to someone anywhere in the world who for the first time now is on a remote team? Who would like to kick off and do check-ins first? And Sharon, what did I miss?
I will also be your timer. So I'll be giving you a 30-second warning because we each get 2 minutes for our check-ins. So if you see anything like this, that means you've got 30 seconds to wrap up your thoughts.
Awesome. Who wants to kick off our check-ins?
I'm in.
Do it.
So, question of the week. I think I spent about 11 hours on virtual meetings yesterday, and more to come today. So, my biggest thing is I like to be super present. I do turn off all notifications, like we already talked about. I go to earphones instead of just the speaker, so that I can protect confidentiality. And I always make sure that I'm there early. I've got everything I need before I actually get going. So I've got my glass of water. I've got everything that I could possibly need right there. So that's my tip for the week there. I've got a pretty big thing here. So in addition to my roles with Ignite Leadership, my wife and I also have Cherry Creek Dance in Denver, of course. And we had to make a really tough call to shut down all in-studio classes, and that looked very different on Friday afternoon than it did when we actually told the team on Sunday. So it's been an incredible emotional just weekend, and as we shift into a new phase of life here, of going all virtual classes, all online, and that sort of thing. So, which actually leads me to a high five, which is to Shed. When I needed to write this letter to just kind of express us, and we ended up filming it. And I sent an email and text to Shed, and I just said, hey, I need a little help with this. Could you mind reading this? And Shed just dropped everything in order to be there for me, which major kudos, my friend. That was an amazing move, and it really helped me bring up the why we do what we do in this. So thank you so much for that. That's the biggest thing that's on my heart and mind today. Thanks to the team for being here too.
Awesome. Lee, pass it on to your next culprit here.
I'm going to go with, how about David?
Okay, can you hear me? Great. Yeah, I too, like Lee, trying to keep everything super organized, be prepared in advance of any calls or conversations, so that I can be of use. I would say what's on my heart and mind right now is staying healthy. That's a huge passion of mine. And I think given what's happening in the world right now, super important for everybody. So when I think about the things that we can to control our health, those things would be our nutrition and our movement, as well as our sleep. But for nutrition, what comes to mind are that there are some very simple things that we can do. Avoid sugar being number one, refined sugar especially. Sugar is pro-inflammatory. It's processed by the liver in a very particular way, and that puts out a lot of things into your system that are not good, that actually work against immunity. As far as immunity is concerned, you want to consume foods that are high in vitamin E, zinc.
David, we just lost you. You went on mute there. We lost you at zinc, I think.
Back? Am I back? Yeah, my
Yes.
computer's doing something very strange. Omega-3 fatty acids. Basically, fish, nuts, basically the Mediterranean diet would be the best. I know that's not the easiest thing for everybody to get to, but super important. As far as movement is concerned, super important that you move in 3 planes of motion. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's the sagittal, the frontal plane, and the rotational plane. So when you think of movement, most exercise is done up and down or in this plane. Movement in the frontal plane is side to side, and rotational movement is this way. Everybody focuses on the muscular system, super important, but the skeletal system is the thing that's going to take the biggest hit from sitting, which is what everybody's going to be doing for a long time. So if you have a limited space, make sure you're moving in those 3 planes. Okay, I'm going to pass this now on to Layla.
You. I am in Colorado. I got here last night around midnight. And as much as I really, really, really didn't want to travel right now, I felt like it was the best thing to do to just come and be with my family and help and support, especially my grandma being here. My mom, I think I told you guys before, she wasn't feeling well earlier this week. We were worried. She has just an ear infection, upper respiratory infection. She's on antibiotics and feeling better. So that's good news. But I'm glad to be here. Definitely, as wonderful as it sounds to be locked in my apartment alone for 2 weeks, it's nice to be around family right now. My mom has brought me breakfast in bed. Would recommend. Question of the week. I would recommend, so I have 2 things. One, which Stephen said at the beginning of the call, turning your phone, your computer, if you have a Mac, I don't know about other computers, but the do not disturb function saves my life all the time, so that when we're on calls, when I'm trying to focus on like an email block or something, I don't have things just popping up on my screen or my phone lighting up. And the other thing is having a clean designated workspace. So like my apartment in New York, I don't have an office, but I make sure that if there's any clutter around that would be bothering me, that would be a distraction. I make sure to sort that out at the beginning of the day, and then designated workspace at my kitchen counter. Both working in bed or on the couch, think Sharon, is, comfy. It's not really the best working environment. Sharon, back to you. Excellent. Thank you for sharing, everyone. Who has a story of why we do what we do?
I do.
Take it, Jessie.
Hi. My story of why we do what we do is related to my mother. She's had cancer, and she had her 3-month checkup. And during the checkup, they found some more things, and so they wanted to do a biopsy. And during the biopsy procedure, she started bleeding, and after the procedure. And so when they were trying to send her home, because they're just supposed to be an outpatient thing, the nurse was like, "Oh, I don't think she should go home." And the doctor was like, "Yeah, we're just going to send her home." But she kept bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. And so they ended up keeping her. And it finally dawned on me why that nurse felt safe enough to kind of question the doctor and say, "Let's keep her because she's continuing to bleed." And it was because one of my dance mom friends, she works at the hospital that my mom was at. And she had told me once, I had told her what I do and who I work for Simon. And she's like, "Oh, well, in our like orientations and trainings, we always watch the Golden Circle. We always are learning about Simon and his things." So it dawned on me, that's why that nurse felt safe enough to question that doctor, because that's the kind of training that they get at that hospital. So, I mean, that could have been a matter of life and death. Gratefully, thankfully, it wasn't. But I'm grateful to that nurse, and I'm grateful to that hospital that they embrace these principles and practices. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jessie. Guys, I know we're a remote team and some of this is normal for us, and yet some things are very different. And more family is around and we're more isolated. Just remind us to connect with each other, that we have each other's back. Suffering is done alone, struggling is done together. Let us struggle together and we'll move forward together. Love you all.